a somewhat simultaneous clap, please, guys.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Previously on Basement Discourse, Jace talks about Free Guy.
That actually kind of sounded fucking sweet.
Yeah, it was pretty good. All right, guys, welcome to Basement Discourse. I'm your host for this evening, Justin, the D&D guy. We have Jace to my left, but probably not yours. And we also have Brady, the anime fool.
Fucking bam! Get in with those third grade insults.
So, how was everyone's Christmas?
Fantastic. Got so many presents. I had more presents than Santa Claus.
Damn.
Does Santa Claus actually get presents?
Probably doesn't.
Yeah, probably.
That's why it's so sour. Yeah. So, how'd your Christmas go, Brady?
I'm not participating in this charade.
Oh, this is
Obviously,
fantastic.
Okay, so everybody knows we record ahead of time, but this is coming out after Christmas.
No, it's
So
December
Justin's
26th right now. We are recording. This is live.
We're recording live every
into
time.
A shenanigan that I refuse to participate in.
I don't know what Brady's on about.
Yep, no idea. It is exactly
We
the
are
day.
future men, and everyone should use lotto numbers 6, 9,
And 69.
420.
2, 0.
Now people are going to sue us for getting that wrong.
I
Yeah, so it is definitely not after Christmas for us right now, but when you are watching this, it is just very shortly after Christmas. So Merry Christmas to those that are watching this at any point after the date when we release it.
But it does.
And happy
Christmas.
holidays for anyone that doesn't celebrate Christmas.
Yeah, that too. I mean, you get, if you're in Australia, you get 4 days off likely, or 4 days of extra pay. So
I get
enjoy
both.
that. 4 days of extra pay and off, you asshole.
How many years do you boys reckon till it gets officially rebranded as just straight Xmas?
I don't know if it like does it like firstly it doesn't matter because who the hell
it
cares?
doesn't, but
No,
Because all of it stems from like different celebrations for like
it's a bit
harvest
of
and
pick
stuff
and
that stems
chosen.
from
yeah. And plus, the
And
best
aeons
part
ago.
about it is like we all just want a holiday, so we're not going to fight to like stop it from happening. So
no.
we don't.
No one wants
care.
that. And it's pure commercialism at this stage. Most of us have accepted that, but I was just wondering if the actual branding would ever change. What your opinion is?
I don't
I
think
mean,
so because
I think over
Because
time
we're
it
a
already
geek
has,
podcast, and I thought
really.
I'd just get super deep about social
Branding.
situations.
so I don't think it would personally. Mostly because like Xmas is like, as far as I'm aware, the origins of it is that it's kind of like cross X
Yeah,
and then
so like Christ
Christmas.
Or whatever.
Yeah. So it all stems from that. So then it still all goes back to Christianity. Whereas
Yeah.
I would more likely think that Happy Holidays would take off because it's a holiday season
Yeah,
and pretty much every religion,
has a holiday.
every theistic
You'd
religion
hope
has a
so.
holiday around this period.
Yeah,
So I think that's probably more likely to take off than Xmas. But I gotta say I'm a bigger fan of Xmas because it is less letters to type. And I don't like talking to people at the best of times. So if I can type as few letters as possible, sign me right the fuck up.
This man doesn't like talking to people. He begins a podcast talking to people with scheduled times every week.
To be fair, it wasn't me that began the podcast.
yeah.
I was
we have
invited
one
to
guy to
Brady's
blame.
38th podcast.
38.
Okay, Brady,
Okay.
how many podcasts do you have?
Do I have, or am I on? Because there is a difference.
¿Por qué no las dos?
Okay, so I started IRL Pod, that's mine, and then I roped you guys in and asked for this collaboration effort. This is ours, and then I host as a co-host with another gentleman on his podcast. He owns it. I am a host and editor and producer of that one. So 3 technically, but as far as how many do I have, I would say 1.
Mm-hmm.
We've ruined Justin's intro just like fucking completely. We're like, social constructs. How much does Brady talk online?
Why is Brady's desk on a trampoline? That's the next question we should ask. Literally
No,
watching
it's not
you the
my
whole time's giving you fucking motion sickness.
I don't know if
Yeah.
it's moving or everything
Audio
around him is
only
moving.
is
Maybe the
fucking-
room is a swing.
Like I've had to
Yeah.
like balance the equilibrium in my brain by staring at Justin, who does not move at all, just so like I'm not getting fucking motion sick looking at Brady.
Okay, in reality, I might need a stand for my camera because it's using the like on top of a screen mount. So every time I touch the table.
Yeah, but
Audio only
so's mine
listeners,
though.
I'm so sorry for this fucking conversation right now. Justin, where were you going to take this conversation? You're hosting.
Man.
What is happening?
I think
Like, we started with Christmas. We ended up with like some religious talk, and then we talked about a wobbly table. But we'll bring it back to Christmas because by this point, it is after Christmas when you're watching this. And I would say, if all goes to plan, we either have released or we're about to release a little one shot that we did just a few days back, and a few
Your
days
faith
back
in
being
Jace and I
mid-December.
is-
So
It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
yeah, I'm relying on you guys to get that done. So you guys could just do that now. That'd be great.
final open premiere.
Get
It's
to
not
work now,
like we
boys.
recorded 8 hours of footage.
Yeah. So we did a 12-hour day basically of D&Ds. We did 8 hours of recorded footage. I think about
8 hours of setting
maybe
up the cameras.
30 minutes of it will be usable. But I think it went well. As far as one shot goes, from my perspective, it was a lot of input from you guys. I wasn't surprised that it went the way and the darkness
Really?
that it
That
went.
was the most violent Christmas themed thing I've ever been a part of.
I mean, I wasn't
was-
exactly
I've been
prepared for it, but I as soon as it happened, I was like, of course it's gonna go to this. Of course it's gonna end like all like sexual and like deadly and just gory as hell.
Story of my life, sexy and deadly.
You know what I like? We roped Zach into this one, who's going to be a guest on the show at some stage. We do promise. But poor Zach, like he did things so by the rules, and then every now and again he got roped into our like let's call it
Shenanigans.
degeneracy. I'm going
To be
with
fair-
degeneracy, but he participated. But like it was like we dragged him in.
I don't know. It was his idea to start dolphining in that tunnel. Like,
I'm gonna have to
God.
create an image for that. Viewers,
know,
if I
right?
didn't do it, if you watched the show and I didn't do it, come at me. It's
I truly
fine,
think we
because
should recreate the
it's so
entire
good.
instance and have the three of you dolphining through a tunnel. Because I think- just a stun mullet.
I
Yeah.
don't want to do it. I don't want to do it purely because I was at the end.
It's like the best human. I mean, worst humans. I don't know. It's like okay for me, but it's a human centipede.
Yeah, pretty much through a very tight space.
Yeah, but
so-
we had clothes on at that point.
What I wanted to ask
That's
you,
true.
Jace, was this was your first ever delve into the D&D realms. What were your thoughts? Like, what
So
are you thinking?
I go back to this every time we mention that I'm a D&D virgin. But like I have played D&D based games before. Like I'm not unfamiliar with the concept,
Yeah,
but moving to true tabletop and this experience it's different, man. It's like the best way I can describe it is it's like playing Final Fantasy and then going to like an Elder Scrolls game. It's like you've got this very set, structured game that's like follow this path and do this thing.
yeah.
And then the next is just whatever the fuck you want, man. You go wild. You do you.
Yeah.
And that's I live for that. And for those who have yet to see the Christmas special, watch it and you'll understand by what kind of freedoms I get.
You you were obviously what I loved about your performance, and I don't want to give anything away. So, like, this is like spoiler warning. We get to spoiler our own
Wow,
content.
spoiler.
That's great.
No, it comes out after because remember it's Boxing Day.
Yeah,
today.
yeah, but people might not have watched it yet, so we're trying to encourage them to. If you haven't, Jace's performance in this game is someone who never played but was entirely convinced that they were going to bring all their enthusiasm and all their drive from everything in their life into every single maneuver. It was,
Yeah.
it was pretty fantastic.
There's a lot of pent-up
I
anger
came into
going
it
on,
being
I
like,
feel.
okay, we're recording. I have to be a little bit more animated with everything. Jace was like, fuck that, but everything I do will be outrageous.
Yeah, I got to say that I did like I really wanted to play in character until I accidentally gave Bob a southern accent and realized I couldn't keep that up.
That was good. That was really good.
And so I really struggled with that. So I did slip out of character quite a lot.
Yeah.
However, yeah, I really wanted to put a lot into everything I did because you gave me the platform to be as absurd as I could.
Mm.
And those who know me know that absurdism is my life. I live for being absurd. So yeah.
What's funny is like by around about room 3 or 4, I was going to give you guys the opportunity to get weapons, like actual weapons.
Oh no!
And by the time you guys encountered a largish creature and managed to, largish creature. I don't want to say what it is because we don't want to ruin anything. But by the time you guys encountered that creature and managed to get some things off of it and use those as weapons, I was like, nah, they don't need a great axe anymore.
Like you had plans to give us a weapon?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, nobody ever asked what was in the chest in the last room.
That was exactly the weapons. So, yeah, that was all.
I figured that's why you mentioned them. Because I was like, he's mentioned a chest. But why would I need anything out of a chest? Though, to be fair, was there armor in the chest? I really could have used that.
There was everything in the chest. But
was there clothes in the chest? Because here's the only spoiler I'm really going to give. For reasons I want you to listen and watch the show. We weren't always clothed.
Yeah. I would like to preface that, because that's the word, not preference. Brady, if you're listening.
Wasn't on recording.
If you're listening.
You got no evidence.
Anyway, so it was actually really organic how we ended up naked. It wasn't something that was forced. We're not just immature, like we are, but not just immature children.
You're trying too hard to explain this. Let's...
it was naked,
it's Christmas. It was violent.
Yeah, like every Christmas I've had otherwise.
So just a regular Christmas day.
Yeah, that's it. Australian Christmas, welcome.
Awesome. Well, I think we'll wait for what people have to say about it. But if people are enjoying it in any way, shape, or form, we'll get some feedback and likely do some other stylized events in the future. Definitely want to delve out into the world of different tabletops as well down the track. I know that Zach is definitely keen to do a one shot with us for Star Wars, which will be awesome.
Yep,
totally different platform, which
I'd
would be
down
great
for that for sure.
Yeah, that'd be epic. And Zach is an awesome DM, so I'd love to be a player.
And for those that watch,
get to play.
Yeah, I'll get to play, which is very rare for me. So I'm like, yes, please.
Are you going to treat it like this though, where you keep reminding us that we're adults and we have responsibilities and things to do, or are you going to play like we played?
Oh no, I will become the character. You won't hear me talking about my character at all. I will be that person. So
so that's a personal goal. Not to give them a southern accent, so then I can stay in character.
Just hold the accent.
So I genuinely think, and I'm gonna put you on the spot, Justin, because you're in charge of this, I guess. If we're gonna do merch for our show, that merch is the first piece has to have, the logo maybe here, the basement discourse. but the
Yeah.
back just has to have big writing that just straight up says Gnome Squad.
Yeah, boy.
Dead
And anyone
set.
who's watched is like definitely going to be like, we know what you're talking about, and that is a great,
Gnome Squad.
great
And
concept.
if you haven't, go back and watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Gnome Squad was amazing.
And if you're wearing that shirt, you're just gonna have to bust into every room you walk into. Just
Yeah, but
Gnome
you got
Squad,
to close.
bitches!
You got to close the door gently behind you as well.
Of course, absolutely.
Of course.
And you need to sneak up to it
Yeah,
as well. Everything but the entering the door is sneaky.
No, it was good. Should we move on from our like 20-minute ad for our other episode?
No, well, like
Nah.
we do kind of need to recap that. So I would like to ask one
Yeah, we
thing with Justin.
Yeah.
Is that the first one shot you've ever done, or have you done one shots before?
I've done a couple of one shots before. They generally end up running too long, and I end up going for a 2-shot or a 3-shot even. One shot that I ran ended up being a campaign that went for like 6 months. So like sometimes they just get so off track. You're like, well, this is something else now. And it has evolved into something that could actually be really cool. So you just keep going with it. Maybe the group is really working. So you just keep it going. You just keep running with it. You're like, cool, this doesn't have to end.
I've experienced it now, so I can like speak to your DMing skills and the way you work with what the players are giving you. So the story does feel organic in that manner. Do you think that like honestly, just your honest opinion, do you think one shots are just not necessarily the most appropriate thing for D&D? Do you think they are like
They're
maybe
a
not
little forced.
the best thing for the medium?
Yeah, look, I mean that is a really good topic to like just segue straight into, I suppose. Is that they
Segue!
Jace had a question.
Segue!
So I just wanted to one up it.
They do feel a little forced because everyone coming into a one shot is mostly aware that they are a one shot. So you go into it going, I have nothing to lose. This guy, if he dies, it doesn't matter because I'm only here for one time, and there's no
What are you
consequences.
talking about?
and I'm
I
just gonna go
protected my
hell
dude like
forever.
all hell.
I know, it was really sad.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
busted into every room,
I don't know,
but
it's a
then I
different
was
concept.
like, oh no.
So yeah, I think one shots are good fun, and I think if they're a themed one shot, I think they work really well. Like a Christmas themed one shot or a Halloween themed one shot is quite popular. I've done one of those before, and we'll do one again, I reckon, which would be awesome. Oh God, and yeah, but I don't know. I just think a campaign just means a little bit more. You actually start to care for the character that you're becoming, and you sometimes do become that character. Like you really do feel for that character after a while. It kind of builds on you.
I definitely
I know someone who's named their daughter after their D&D character. That's how like deep shit got for them. I'm not going that far, but you know, like they care.
Yeah.
I do feel 3'2" after our one shot, so
Yeah. Well, you know, after our discussion of how cold it was down there, that seems appropriate too.
the nudity joke again.
Yep, going right back there. But yeah, like I think the one shot really worked, at least as far as an intro for me, because like coming into it thinking that it was a whole campaign.
Probably be a lot of pressure.
Yeah, like there was a fair bit of pressure coming into it as well because I didn't want it to be boring. I wanted to make sure it was fun, but as well, like knowing that it was a one shot, those who will see it will understand. But I just went all out. Like I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna do it, and you'll see whether it pays off or not, depending on whether you've watched it or not.
Yeah, I think it paid off. I think it definitely paid off. It was definitely one of the most colorful episodes that I've ever DM'd in quite a long time. So yeah, it was
I'm
good.
so happy to hear that.
Well,
some
hopefully,
very creative ideas of where to go and what to find and what to use as weapons and
Those
how
weapons were the
to
best. You
armor
can't tell me
yourselves
otherwise. So the most colorful one shot you've done. I'm so happy to fucking hear that because it was like
yeah.
I'm not the most seasoned D&D player. So like if we had our rangers, there's like Justin and then me here and then Jace at his 0, not all that far below me. So like my character
Yeah,
is,
he's salt and mayonnaise level seasoned.
yeah, in the campaigning I've done, my character's like level 3, which is the only character I've ever had. So I'm not exactly like full into it.
Yeah, well, my
And I
character
think
was
our
level
DM
4.
I think our DM was like super generous. No, Justin helped us because it was a one shot. We don't usually get to start at level 4.
Shut up, you.
Yeah, plus it was good storytelling. So, well,
Yeah,
somewhat.
it was. I still think we might wait till the next episode to do like complete spoilers on it, but I'm still a little salty at you for giving me my first chance to have a certain thing and then just immediately taking it away.
Yeah, that was good fun. It was quite funny that when you realized you couldn't, though, it was great.
Yeah, especially
And then
because
I
we spent
forgot and tried again later.
Yeah, yeah. I think you just thought one thing wouldn't work, but another would. And I'm like, no, nothing works. Nothing works.
Yeah, I'm surprised that like I just couldn't have thought of that with like. There's obviously so much that you put into like this thing does that, and you know shit like that that obviously impacts the way we're playing this game. And yeah, it was so much put in that because I didn't even think maybe that wouldn't work. And clearly I was thinking about how the mechanics should work because of what I try in the first room with the chair leg.
Yeah.
Not the bit that you're laughing about, the later bit.
Yep.
But yeah, like there's just clearly so much thought that you put into it because I wouldn't have even thought of that as being the case.
Well, sometimes, like if I had started you guys off with everything, you just would have walked straight out. Like, what's the fun in that? Like, a lot of people play D&D in just this way where they're just like, all right, this number versus this number. So you guys are going to verse off of these guys, and if your numbers are bigger than their numbers, then you kill them. Kind of like how a video game works for the most part. And it's like, cool, that's fun and all, but we're not here to play a board game. We're here to play D&D, and that should have a little bit of a thought process behind it. So like, you've just got to encourage some creative thinking as well as some decent combats, you know, like, so a mix of the two is definitely necessary, which is why you kind of got to sometimes take some things out of the equation.
It's not just that. What I saw with your is storytelling the word, or is DMing just the appropriate term? But like your guiding of what was going on, like there was so many influences in it. Like I saw like you gave me a thing before we played saying, oh, there's a couple Konosuba things, and then like I think we maybe screwed it up, so we didn't get all those.
Yeah,
there was probably more. There's probably more, but there was a little in there, and there was like sci-fi. There was like, I think the whole thing seemed a little Saw themed, which is like pop culture.
Well,
maybe it was
right
on
at the
purpose.
start, yeah.
There was so much in that you just have took, absorbed, and then made your own in a really cool way. Like, I can't speak for every DM. Maybe not everyone has that much. Takes that much initiative as you do, but
I think really for the most part, if you are a DM, then that is exactly what you're doing. Like nothing. If you really broke down the whole session, you'd probably see a whole lot of different things that were influenced. Like, you know, yes, there's Saw. There's also Divinity Original Sin 2 with the exact collars that you might have been wearing, things like that. Like, so if you really start to dig in, it's a whole bunch of different stolen like content jammed together to make things work.
It's not stolen,
but you know what I mean? Like, I mean, how do you invent something that's entirely brand new?
This goes on YouTube. They look for words like stolen.
We didn't steal anything.
But like, that's the thing, is everything's influenced by something.
Yeah.
Regardless of who you are, what you do, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
There's always an influence. There's always something that's, you know, inspired something else.
Yeah.
So it was great. Should we make do you guys have more comments about the story, or should we
I think we could probably bring it up on next sesh, maybe after we expect every single person that's ever watched this to have watched that.
Yeah,
then,
all 10
every-
trillion of them.
yeah, all of our
Yeah.
listeners, all of our followers, all of our
listeners,
everything.
we haven't mentioned this in any of our plugs, but like, please share the fuck out of this. If you enjoyed it in like 1%, please share it, because I mean, we're enjoying what we're doing, and if you're listening to this episode, it means you've listened to the first one, and hopefully,
More than likely.
Or
And
maybe
you've
they
just had
haven't.
Christmas. I mean, if it's just after Christmas, you're feeling super generous. So share shit out of us, all right?
Yeah, share this.
So I was actually going to bring it over to Jace now and come back to Free Guy and just see if you had a chance this week.
yeah, because
being that this has been a week,
fucking rubbish take.
yeah.
So I did watch it. I watched it start to finish. Now I would like to say that I pretty much think the exact same thing. So
Right.
it is still crap. However, it does get better. Not good, but better.
Right.
Nothing still quite saves it. Like, I do get what you meant about the premise of it all being stolen, except that still doesn't explain it. Like, the general premise, yes, because that's where the map is and all that is within the game.
Yeah.
That doesn't explain why they can't see what an NPC is doing, even if that
Figured as much.
NPC is self-aware. It still appears as an NPC.
It's still code somewhere.
Yeah, code is code is code is code.
Yeah.
Like, regardless, there would be a trace. And like, I get that would just ruin the movie, but surely you could have spent 20 minutes to think of plot structure that would be slightly better. Like,
It's a comedy, dude. It's a
don't
comedy
care.
action.
I don't care. You start bringing my expertise in, I'm going to shit on you if you don't do it right.
Every time.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't have that mentality with anime. Like, if it's a comedy anime, I loosen my standards like 50-fold.
Yeah. But like, okay, so if this was like fitness based, because that is your living. IT is my living.
It's not about my living. If it's fitness based, that's about people's actual. No one's gonna watch Free Guy and go, "That's a thing that applies to my life." If we're talking fitness based, that's very different.
No. So if there was a comedy that was all about like
Just
meatheads at the gym or whatever, and they were doing shit that was super wrong, you would get annoyed about it. Do not.
Yeah, like maybe, like, for example, they're using the equipment like in the exact wrong way.
That happens all the time. Have you watched any Hollywood
Yeah,
film?
but it's but like, they do it in such a way that it actually works, and they're like, "Yep, getting buff, doing this,"
and that's not part of the comedy or anything like that.
No,
that sort of shit should bother you.
That could be infuriating.
And totally, because think of it this way: like, I work with software companies for a living. It is my day in and day out. It is how I make money, and it is what I do in my free time.
I'll give you a little.
I do see what you mean, because like, I watch cooking movies and stuff occasionally, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Why? Like, what the hell is this guy doing? Like,
oh my god.
They'll be like, oh, like fucking yes. No, you. The show You on Netflix.
My wife loved
not
that.
bad. It is actually pretty good. So I recommend it as It's just called You. YOU.
Isn't that the like fucking thriller psychopath?
Yeah. So season 3, there is a chef. I'm not going to say much else because I don't want to ruin it for anyone. They might hate me forever. There's a chef in it. She's all about the food, and she's all foodie and shit. You watch her hold and use a knife, and it is the most infuriating thing you've ever seen in your fucking life.
See?
I just want to kill her so
I'm
bad.
not even a chef, but I've done a lot of kitchen work, and I get real mad seeing that IRL when people don't do that right.
See, and you're giving me shit. It's not different. It's only different because you don't work with software.
I now understand where Jace is coming
different.
from. 100%.
I'll tell you why it's different. You've presented very good points. I'll concede to you that. I'll tell you why it's different. Ryan Reynolds.
No.
Really? It's not enough for you?
I don't care that much about Ryan Reynolds.
He's
Have you seen Blade Trinity?
fucking.
You're welcome.
You can't reference a 10-year-old movie.
Yeah, no. What did you set out rules? No 10-year-old movies?
I actually forgot that he's even in that. I can't even picture what he was in that.
He was
He
the
played one of Blade's
definition of how good a
guys.
superhero person should look from Blade Trinity.
And yeah, basically he just played comedic relief for the whole.
Yeah.
Is
he
that
played
not Ryan Reynolds like life?
Yeah,
He's just comedic relief in life.
But like-
well, I'm glad, nonetheless, I'm glad you gave it a shot and watched the whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
I was challenged, so I thought, you know what, I'll do it. But yeah, like
The idea that it's kind of like,
Actually,
do
here's
we
a
want to
question.
spoil it? Do we want to put spoilers out there or
we
what? for
won't
this
spoil
thing?
the movie. It's
All right.
brand fucking new.
Well,
You can't spoil that.
Fuck
but-
you guys then.
You can't spoil a brand new movie, man. There are a few people who may yet. But, I'm glad you watched it. Your take hasn't changed. That's fine. But are you glad you watched all of it?
sort of.
Yeah.
At least
It's a
the
different
premise of the
question,
movie
isn't
at the
it?
end is like kind of nice, you know. It's like,
It redeems it to a degree, right?
That's nice.
Yeah,
To a degree.
like,
Even
like-
from your perspective, which I have a better understanding of after this explanation, I still don't 100% get there, but I understand it more.
yeah. So yeah, I'm okay with having watched it. It's sort of like, you know, when you go to the movies and
Okay.
like you go to the movies and you watch a movie that was all right, but you wouldn't go back and watch it again.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
spent some time, you did something that wasn't shit, so it's not a complete
Okay.
loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You just
That's
don't feel
fine.
better for watching it. So,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's fair
Except
enough.
now that I know that Steve Harrington's in a movie, so that's a thing. The guy from Stranger Things, Steve the Hair Harrington.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. When we're not all freaks for Stranger Things like you are. I mean, I love it. I just haven't watched as much as you have. I was going to change up the topic now, if that's all right. Are we
No,
done with Free
banned.
Guy? Oh,
Back to
okay,
Free
cool.
Guy.
Yeah.
No,
Back
you
to
get
D&D?
do that
I'm happy with
after-
that.
You get to do that after I pee.
That's fair
Oh,
enough.
okay.
Let's
Tinkle
have
time.
a short break, guys.
I was your regular 9-to-5 guy. I had a family, good paying job. I was the guy everyone would come to for the answer. And man, I just wanted answers of my own. Since picking up a D20 and deciding it would rule my life, it's changed me. Can't decide what to wear? Roll for it. Don't feel like picking the kids up from soccer practice because it's raining? Roll for it. Feel like quitting your well-paid job to jump into a career of professional street mimes? Roll for it. Yes, sir, a lot has changed in the last 2 weeks. My wife and kids left, quit my job, I'm homeless, I'm poor, I can't decide whether to continue. D20 Life Builder. Roll for it. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to resume if you'd like to take your seats.
Okay, so we're on a plane. There are only one snake.
There's only
That was
one
grammatically
snake.
correct.
That's just rough.
Brady has the snake. Brady's on
The best
snake,
time.
no internet.
Best time to freeze ever.
No, it was good because I'm guessing on my screen when you guys froze was when at the end of your sentence snake when I laughed. So I'm
Yeah.
guessing on your screen it
You're
was when I
frozen
was like
mid-laugh.
mid. Yeah, good.
Yeah, it was fantastic. But yeah, so now that we're back and we've all taken our seats and put our seatbelts on,
Fascinating.
I was just thinking when we were having the discussion about Free Guy, we should recommend cooking animes to just, it's a whole
What?
genre.
It's
of,
a whole thing. Yeah, it's a whole
Nah,
thing.
really?
Yes,
But-
I don't know how
Yeah,
accurate it
It
is.
is, but I want to be honest. Some of them are, for the record, as someone who's worked in a lot of kitchens, but they have more anime tropes than a lot of other animes. I was gonna work him towards it.
Right.
I went with Konosuba because it has the gaming stuff and things that I knew fantasy-wise he would like get, and I went with Death Note because anyone who's ever recommended anime to anyone ever who doesn't watch anime goes with Death Note because it's
You know
it's
what would be a
very
fun
digestible.
concept is maybe like down the track, we just like come up with an idea for each other to just try the most whack of something. Like the most whack anime for me to attempt to watch, like the most whack tabletop game for us all to play, and like the most whack like video game, like just fucking out there, like what the fuck is this sort of thing, you know what I mean? So I think that'd be a good idea.
Already.
I was saying, I was thinking.
Cooking animes. So Devil's a Part-Timer, Food Wars, blanks. You got more?
No, I don't know. I've never watched any, but I know that, like, because when I used to have my Crunchyroll, there was a whole section for cooking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
there's a heap. I
there's
mean, we spoke episode 2 about the gaming Final Fantasy 15. I've come up with a new recipe.
True. And Toradora, if you ever try that out, I don't know if you've seen Toradora, have you, Brady?
No. I've watched the trailer, but yeah.
I'm a little obsessive over it. I quite thoroughly enjoyed it because I'm a little slice of life whore. But there's quite a lot of cooking in that because the main character is like a clean freak who is like the father / mother figure, like the parental figure of all of his friend group and everything. So he does all the cooking and cleaning and stuff. So there's a fair bit of cooking in that too. So maybe that would be a slow progression. There's only 25 episodes in the entire show as well.
Food Wars is probably going to be your go-to though, honestly.
But yeah, maybe we'll DM actual suggestions later on. Rather than just spitting random shit
on there.
But have you watched Food Wars, Jace?
No, I've never watched any proper cooking animes.
No, Food Wars. The only problem and the only reason I didn't go that instead of Konosuba, Food Wars goes down the anime thing of over-sexualizing normal situations.
Oh god!
Have you never worked in a kitchen?
With food?
I have a lot, but I'm a male.
Oh, my panties are sizzling off. Ooh.
Most of my kitchen experiences in
where did that cucumber go?
Most of my experiences was getting towel whipped to the point of bleeding and abused.
That sucked.
That's the normal.
Yeah, that went too real and dark.
Male. Yeah,
it's the real abusive lives of kitchens.
Yeah, Food Wars though goes down the other route of anime. So like, there's a main character. He makes food that makes people eat it and basically react as if they're enjoying it visually, vocally,
right,
as if they're having a very, very, very sexual experience.
So where's the wars part come into this?
I'm not going to tell you because it spoils the show.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But it's got an English translation. I think it's on Netflix, even in Australia. So Food Wars, great show. But if you're not seasoned in anime to some degree, it might be a little too much for you. If it's your first anime, you might just go, what the I'm out. Like, but it's still good. It's a really good show. It's really funny. But
okay.
There's a reason I didn't give that to you number 1. I went the gaming route with Konosuba. Speaking of, if we're going to do anime now, we still need to do more gaming for sure for this episode, but we can do anime. Jace, you started Konosuba. We didn't do that in episode 3.
I finished Konosuba today.
You son of a bitch.
You finished it.
Yes.
You're ahead of just
So I completed season 2, and all I've got to watch now is the movie. No, I haven't watched the movie yet.
That's crazy.
Season 3 is estimated, but I mean, anime sources are always annoying. They always say next year this, and then it ends up being a year later. But the next season is supposed to be 2022. But we'll see how that plays out.
I was
In the
not a fan
meantime-
that it seems to imply that that was the end. Like, even though nothing is final in the story, it comes up with the title. It says "Thanks for playing" in like pixel art,
Yeah,
and I was like,
it's because they
"Wait, is
weren't
this
sure.
supposed to be?" Yeah,
The problem
um,
is, so Konosuba came out just to really, really quickly do this. I've done the isekai explanation before,
Yep.
haven't
about
Yep.
30 times. Yeah,
So Konosuba is, in 4 episodes. Konosuba is an isekai, and unfortunately, even though it's a comedy, which is what I would put it in the category of in genre, and anyone who watched it would put it in that genre, got landed in the isekai genre. And the isekai genre is flooding the anime market. So whether it gets picked up for further more seasons will come down to whether people think it's a good isekai instead of do they think it's a good
comedy.
Which kind of sucks, but regardless. How'd you go?
I love Darkness.
Yeah,
Like
dude.
Darkness?
Yeah,
She's
funny.
amazing.
Yeah.
The least prominent character.
She is so funny though.
Yeah.
Like when
Really?
they go to
watched
the
it, and
Axis
she
town,
was yeah.
and people just spit on the ground in front of her, and she's like, "Oh."
Yeah, 'cause she's a masochist to the most extreme degree.
Yeah, I live for it. And like when they tied her behind the wagon, and they had to heal her constantly, but she's just like,
Yeah.
oh.
I'm only covering myself for audio, but it's so like Justin, as a DM, as a fantasy seasoned human, did you get that far yet?
No, I haven't got that far. I'm on like episode 2 of season
shit.
2. So
Oh yeah, you know when you're
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. Man.
How have you enjoyed Darknesses?
No, man, I love her. She's like definitely one of my favorite characters too. Like, just puts
Right.
herself in harm's way just to get off. It's fantastic.
To get off. I'm supposed to be the anime guy, and I avoid all of that. And you're like, just to get off.
It's
Yeah, no.
great.
But see, it stereotypes you. See, I'm the gamer guy. If I'm like playing a game and I'm like, ooh, I like the sexy bits, that seems creepy.
Yeah.
But if I watch anime and I'm like, I love how that chick's a masochist and like tries to get off all the time. That just
Totally
seems
fine.
funny. Yeah.
It's
That's
like when
fair.
you go to a different country and you're a tourist, so you can just do anything.
Yeah.
That's what we are. We're the tourists of anime.
It's like if Justin made us naked in the one shot. That would be weird.
Yeah, that would be weird.
We made us
yourself
naked.
naked. Oh, that's fantastic.
So, Jace finished Konosuba. Recommendation for anyone who hasn't watched much anime but has an interest in fantasy.
Yes. Were
Yes.
you asking if I should, like, if people should watch it? 'Cause
Yeah,
yes,
no, like, where do you give it out of 10? Do you tell people to go for it?
yeah,
Give me that name.
I'd recommend it. I'd give it a like solid 7.5 out of 10. The only reason
That's-
I wouldn't go higher is purely because I find the story is it plays sort of a second part to it. Like it
Yeah.
the story's just
It's
yeah,
kinda-
whatever.
Yeah, it's a bit of a
Completely fair.
goof.
Whereas yeah, so everything's sort of more based around the funny and what's happening in that episode. Like I don't think at any point do you really need to be super invested in the story.
No.
And that's sort of one thing that I do like about anime is I like to get invested in the story. And because that plays a bit of a backseat role, I don't give it bonus points for that. But purely based on the comedy, it's probably the funniest. And like I've seen some anime with some hilarious scenes in it, but there is nothing that is consistently as funny as Konosuba that I've
Yeah.
seen.
The mix
Yeah,
of the
I
characters just
agree.
works well. Like
And like One Punch Man gets the current, I guess the trending comedy vote, but I genuinely think Konosuba is the underdog that should be winning.
Yeah.
One Punch Man is good, but I think Konosuba should definitely be taking it, and we'll get you onto that eventually, Justin. But yeah,
Yeah.
outside of that, in terms of one shots, because that's why we started this episode, and just to hijack it a bit further with the anime, Your Name, you've watched it, haven't you, Jace?
Yeah.
Your Name is super popular, but it's actually for a good reason. Because there are some anime that get popular. I think Spirited Away was like the most high-grossing anime before Your Name. I think Your Name took it, but
Wow.
there's yeah. It took a long time, but it took it. It's pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
I don't have much else to say without spoiling it because it's too new.
Yeah, like
it did.
I would recommend, like, if you wanted just something that you can finish in one hit because it's a movie, give that a try, Justin. Like, it's very much, I would say it's probably drama / romance.
Yeah.
There's not really any there's sort of a supernatural thing, but also sort of not. I won't go into it, but
yeah, it's such a spoiler. You can't.
And it's not like fucking, I don't know, demons or anything weird like that. Like,
yeah, there's no magic. There's no. Your Name is has to be watched to be enjoyed properly. And
but it's probably something
up for it.
Yeah, it's probably something you could sit down with the wife with. Like, I actually watched it with Beck, so I watched it with my wife. She thought it was okay, whereas I was like, "Oh my god, my heart
feels."
Yeah,
Nice.
I'd rate giving it a try.
All right.
And it has a.
I'll put it down on my list.
And just quickly, it has a in the same universe, not necessarily a sequel. Weathering with You. Both movies have probably some of the most outrageous animation to come out of one-shot movies kind of ever. There's moments in Weathering You where there's like raindrops hitting windows and you're like, fuck, that's drawn.
Yeah, there's some amazing art. I think Brady worded that poorly because it kind of sounded like you were just talking about them doing like wacky JoJo-esque sort of stuff, because you were talking about how wild it was. I can't even remember the exact words. I wasn't really listening to you. But
fair enough.
No, but
nothing else is new here, Jace.
Nothing at all. But yeah, like, it's really high quality art, and like for most of it, it is just very typical anime. But there's certain scenes like with sunrises and stuff like that where you can see that there is some really impressive work going on.
Yeah,
nice. Your Name,
because I haven't seen Weathering with You, but the sunrise over the canyon thing.
Oh, fuck that! The comet shower.
Oh yes, also that.
Yeah, and fireworks, and
nice.
It's pretty outrageous. What's Your Name with your partner? This is so good that Jace's missus didn't hate it, and my partner came and watched Weathering with You in the cinema, and I'm such a fucking otaku asshole that I made her watch it in Japanese with subtitles. The
You're
day
a piece
it got
of shit.
released. Yeah, so I can understand a decent. I don't do it on this show because I sound like a dickhead when I do it, but I can understand a decent amount of Japanese, so I wasn't reading it. Claire was having to read it in a cinema, which is awful. If you've ever watched any movie subtitled, it's totally fine at home. In a cinema, it's actually very difficult because it takes up the room of several people.
Yep.
Yeah, subtitled movies are difficult in a cinema. But she watched it with me because she liked Your Name so much. She was like, all right, I'll go watch this other thing with you that's in the same universe. She regretted it a little bit, but she also enjoyed the movie. So that's still a testament to Weathering with You. What's Your Name? Watch Weathering with You. I'll leave anime there. Jace, what's going on in the fucking gaming world?
I don't know. I didn't really prepare for this at all.
Is the show scripted? Jace, gaming.
I'm honestly trying to think what I have
Did
actually.
Did you play Generation Zero?
Yes, so I did. I did play a bit of Generation Zero.
Recommendations from Justin. the
Nice.
not
So
gaming guy.
I gave that a crack. It's definitely weird. You can tell it's not like super high budget.
Yeah, definitely.
It definitely has some Horizon Zero Dawn vibes to it with the whole mechs and stuff.
Yeah.
But it also has like a real horror feel. Like I'd totally forgotten about that part because I think you mentioned it at the time because we were talking about Horizon Zero Dawn, and I think that's where that came out from.
Yeah.
But playing through it, it has some like real sort of dark horror vibes. Like the first house I walked into, I don't know if it starts the same for every playthrough or whatever, but I walk into the house and it's like blood across the floor. There's like one red light in a room sprayed across the room, and you can see like an arm that's hanging through the light and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And like it's pretty grim looking to start with, and
Yeah.
that's
an issue I'm having with it though, is it is grim looking to start with, but then after a while you notice that, like, the same things crop up a lot. So like, it's big map, wash, rinse, repeat on a whole lot of houses, like things like that. And I don't recall any more detail than what you just said in any other house. So like after that, they're all just empty. Like there's not a lot in them at all. So
and like without trying to shit on the game or the company that made it, that is a common trope in games. Like,
I mean, how much work do you want to put into, everything?
Well, like
that's the hard part.
Skyrim is a good example, right? Everyone talks about Skyrim. It's only been released 683 times, coming out on Samsung fridges later this year. But yeah, that game still, there are tons of dungeons, houses, things like that are literally cut and paste. What they will do is maybe they'll move some of the objects in the room, but otherwise
change a couple of colors or textures, and that's about it.
Yeah, they're cut and paste otherwise.
Yeah.
And it happens in every game, regardless of the the budget and things like that. And so I can totally understand why they did it.
Yeah.
But I can imagine the further I get, unless the story becomes a bit more engaging, the content that's available could become problematic. Like,
yeah, no, I mean, I'm probably another 15 hours into where you are currently. I think I'm a level 15 or 16 at the moment, and it's very much the same thing over and over again. So you just move to a harder area with more robots, bigger robots, harder to kill robots, and you take over a bunker, and you get some missions. You go on the missions. All the missions are just kill something or go and get a piece of information that means nothing to you, and then you go on to the next one. So now that I'm like maybe 25 hours in, it is fun still. I do like to play it, but there's no story whatsoever except that you're like the only guy there and you're just trying to find someone, and that's really about it. So
that's definitely one thing I've found is that, like, I don't know if this was like a budgeting choice or it's supposed to add to the whole loneliness feel of it. But yeah, so I do notice that there is a lot of stuff where it's like, oh, look, listen to this answering machine and this person talks about that thing.
Yeah, no,
and
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, so much of it is just arbitrary nonsense, kind of like all the books and stuff you pick up in the Skyrim games.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, here's a whole bunch of lore.
In
I
games
don't care.
in general.
Yeah, I don't care enough to read that.
Do you have
I totally
lore,
I vibe with lore, but like
I'm interested
it's
in
got to be
this.
done right.
Fuck yeah. And then
the levels of lore.
It doesn't help me. And then what the fuck? I don't know if I want to do this with a DM and a gaming guy. Okay.
You've
my version,
cornholed yourself here. Go on.
Yeah. My version of gaming is to start the game. Usually I pick a random way of doing it because I play games in multiple ways, right? Like, because I've done tanks, I've done fighters, I've done mages, I've done defense dudes. Like, I've done it all. So when I start a game, I pick whatever the fuck I feel like at that moment. And then I go exactly where I'm not supposed to be. And I make it work, no matter how many hours it takes, fighting something I'm not supposed to be fighting.
So you took the quarry in Fallout New Vegas?
Well, So I'll do the Witcher mission that I'm not supposed to do. I'll go in Skyrim to the troll that I'm not supposed to fight, and then stand back and throw shitty shit at it.
For hours.
And I'll do all of that sort of stuff. That's how I game. I go to places I'm not supposed to be, make it work through outrageous means, and then go back into the story and walk through it.
Yeah, so I don't mind that. Like, I have a habit of getting sidetracked in Elder Scrolls games. I have only once ever finished Oblivion and once Skyrim, yet I have put many, many, many hours into both.
Agreed.
Is there actually a finishing of Skyrim? That map
Yes.
is...
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
I've done
bullshit.
story, and I've done the vast collection of things you can do.
So the
including
story
legendary.
eventually ends.
Yeah,
it
there's
does.
always an end. There is an end.
Yeah, there is a story end, and I've done that a couple times in a couple different ways. Also, did anyone else find Mage somewhat disappointing in Skyrim?
I pretty much only ever play an archer.
Yeah, Archer's so OP, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it
You
is.
just sneak
It's
around
strangely
right in
OP.
front of people and just shoot them. It's ridiculous.
yeah. Because
Mage in Skyrim is probably the least fun because the master supposedly top tier spell still has an area of effect that's the ground in a game where the main enemy can fly.
Yeah, okay.
yeah, and that's why being an archer makes fucking sense.
No, I'm not debating you. I'm just
But
saying
yeah.
it was a little bit sad because the spells are really cool.
But yeah, like, so for example, one of the RPGs that I fuck with the most, and you will know about this as of Wednesday because I will be getting a tattoo of this said game, Mass Effect. It is
Yeah.
possibly my most played series of games, except Andromeda, that can go fuck itself.
Wow. Wow. It had potential, right, Andromeda. I remember reading about it and being like, oh, this sounds cool.
Wait, was there a TV
Huge.
series in the 90s with like the dude who played Hercules?
Yeah, but that's Andromeda's a galaxy, bro. That Mass Effect Andromeda is a game based in that galaxy. That was a TV show based in the galaxy. Anyway, back to Mass
I'm
Effect.
an anime person.
Back to Mass Effect. So I have sunk a lot of hours into that game, and I'm currently on like my 15th playthrough of the trilogy, but this time I'm on my 3rd playthrough of the Legendary Edition, which only came out in May this year.
Wow.
I'm currently playing through all 3 of the original trilogy titles through the Legendary Edition on the absolute hardest difficulty. And it's wild. Like, it is hard. Like, some enemies can one-shot you. If pretty much anyone throws a grenade and you're in line of sight of that grenade, you are fucked. And like, it's still that difficult, even though I have reached max level. I can't level up anymore, and it is still really hard. But I'm so in love with that series, I still will not read the codex entries. Like,
Really?
I've read some of them if I'm really into it, but like, so far on the Legendary Edition, I have over 230 hours clocked since May in that game.
Yeah.
I still have not bothered to read those codex entries because
But
I have some life.
I guarantee, though, you've watched all the cutscenes, and I guarantee you've heard all of the like conversations as you've walked past someone about certain things.
Absolutely.
So I just think that lore could be done better. Like,
in RPGs,
you should
definitely.
not be expected to read things because that is fucking boring as shit. They should be implementing the lore that they want implemented in different ways that are smarter.
Absolutely. So, like, things like the Hannah, which have you guys played the Mass Effect games, or at least
haven't played Mass
even the
Effect.
first one.
I've played 0 Mass Effect.
You guys are trash cans, and I hate you both.
I know.
But there's a race called the Hanar, and they play such a minimal role in the series, but through the right choices in dialogue and talking to the right people, you can actually learn a fair bit about who they are, and what they do.
Oh, so what you're saying is you do like lore?
Yes, but that's not a fucking codex entry.
Yeah.
A codex entry is when it's just
So
a
you,
wall of
played...
text.
Oh yeah, I'm not
I
gonna
don't
give a
read
shit.
books. I've read 3 books in my entire life.
You played, experienced lore.
Oh, 100%. I swear by it. But I do not like it if it's a codex entry. That's what I'm getting at.
Agreed.
Yeah.
If you want to give me a big wall of text that's like, oh, if you shove your thumb up this alien's bumhole he doesn't like, I don't care. I don't. Put that in a dialogue option, then we'll...
Yeah, right. Fair enough.
100%.
I'm not totally against that, Rain. That's fine.
It works in D&D as well. Like, you go over the top with your lore at the start of a campaign. No one gives a fuck.
No, I
one
had that
cares.
actually.
That's all.
I've had one where it's like, did you see the painting at the beginning? I'm like, no.
You're like, oh, that was the king. that was
the
a little
key
Easter egg to that
chest open.
5 pages of lore I told you about earlier. How clever am I? I think it's just an overindulgence thing, and I think it might be the same for video game writers, where they're just like, well, they need. I've put a lot of thought into this alien race that they don't know much about, so they need to know that. I've got a lot of stuff here. There's so much that I've planned with these guys, and the only way I can do it is by putting it in this code. I'm going to put it on this desk, and this guy's going to pick it up, and they're definitely going to read about how much thought I put into this. No one gives a fuck, dude. At all.
Put it in a dialogue option or a mission or something.
It's have some guys talking about it. Be like, oh yeah, those fucking aliens are wild. And then it might pique your interest enough to be like, wait a minute, what do you say about those aliens? And you go and talk to those people. I don't need to read about it.
100%.
Yeah, agreed.
What's
so law? Fuck law.
All right. What are you guys into
codexes,
in each one of our things before we round out for episode 4?
Well, actually, before we round out, we were actually supposed to talk about something, and I was not supposed to say actually 3 times in one sentence, but I did.
Actually, I think we could just bring it up next time.
Actually, but what's next time? But actually, what are you guys into right now?
Hentai.
Fuck. I knew.
No, true story, talking about gaming, I actually bought a game called Hentai Girl on Steam. It's terrible. Absolutely awful. Not worth the $2 I spent on it. I thought for $2, a hentai game can't be awful. I was wrong. It's literally a puzzle game, and at the end you get a naked anime girl, and I'm like, that was boring.
Okay, so I'm going to tangent this, even though we're near the end of the fucking episode, for sure, considering how far in we are. Have you guys heard of Erige? So Erige is, you guys know what a visual novel is?
Yeah.
So Erige is a visual novel involving RPG gaming elements with visual novel elements with hentai.
Okay.
Adding to cart.
Okay.
Yeah, so
acting
I don't want to talk
uninterested,
about
but
this for an extensive
writing
amount of
down
time.
without looking
Not
at
something
my
I've
pen paper.
delved into because not my realm. Didn't know it was a thing. Was astounded when I found out it was. So visual novels sound really cool. I really want to delve into them. But it's a visual novel featuring a JRPG element. So run around, do the thing, and then it crosses to a visual novel. And then at the end of that visual novel, if you've done the right selections, which of course you have because they've made it easy, ends in a sex scene.
So From my minimal knowledge,
D&D.
My question with that though is, in what order do you prepare life? Do you know what I mean? Like,
no, that was
where does
terrible.
I have
gaming-
no idea what you're talking about.
where does gaming end and the sex scene and your personal prep begin?
Personal.
Why does it have to end?
Yeah.
Like, you just start by spitting on it and holding a sock in your spare hand.
All right, no. Justin, continue on with whatever you're going to do. I took the tangent because we were on it, but what have you got to finish us up,
Oh
man?
God! Yikes! Oh, right now, tomorrow night I'm going to be playing another episode of the Star Wars RPG that I'm a part of, which is great. Tabletop game.
Yeah, I'm pretty keen to do that because I've looked at a little bit of Star Wars lore and it looks cool.
It's pretty good, especially with the DM like Zach. He has a lot of knowledge about Star Wars. He's probably about as big a Star Wars nerd as Jace, so it's really good because he just knows shit, and you're like, cool, this is immersive.
For those that have seen the episode, you might notice the moment that Zach and I have a bit of a bromance.
Bromance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called tonguing.
Yeah, just spoil it.
Wow.
No, but we have a bit of
Spoiler
a
alert.
Star Wars moment, and it's pretty awesome. So yeah,
Yeah, it's gonna happen. So,
I'm hyped.
Yeah, he's a good DM.
What else,
so
man?
that's what I'm looking forward to. Aside from that, I might play a few video games, but we'll just see. I'm not sure anymore about my suggestion about Generation Zero, so I might give it another crack this week. Maybe I'll just give up on it. I don't know. So that's me this week. What are you up to, Brady?
Jace? Oh, okay. Fine. We'll both just do. What am I doing? Demon Slayer is currently in its next season. I know that's the most overhyped anime ever, but it's also quite enjoyable. People, you'll get there. I'm gonna wait till you'll finish the current ones, Justin, and then Demon Slayer is probably
as soon as we started talking about anime, now ads for Demon Slayer are popping up on my Facebook feed.
Yeah,
It's
like
ridiculous.
quite genuinely, once you get through these two, I think so for the last like certain amount of years, 6 to 8 years, I think Death Note has been the go-to recommendation for people who don't like anime. Give them Death Note.
Yeah,
I think Demon Slayer will honestly replace that for the next decade.
Yeah.
Because it avoids anime tropes for like 6 or 7 episodes. I think I've said that before. I'm not going to reiterate it. But currently watching the next season of Demon Slayer, it's highly anticipated. Really excited. Literally going to watch the next episode after this recording. So watching that and a couple other things. I'm playing Generation Zero. Pretty keen. Pretty fun.
So we got around it.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Apart from that, we played the Christmas episode of D&D, so that's me on all 3 of our things.
Nice.
Yeah. So as for me, I'm actually going to try and force myself to do something that I don't like. So we discussed how much I don't like MMOs. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to force myself to do something I don't like. And I was thinking that this is something maybe you guys want to pick up on as well. Something that you typically don't like, just force yourself to give it another crack. Similar to what I did with Free Guy. I'm going to spend this week trying to play Star Wars The Old Republic again, because I'm a big Star Wars nerd, and see what my thoughts are on MMOs after I'm done with my week-long play.
It's not a bad idea.
In our thing or in anything of the thing?
Doesn't matter really. Like,
I mean,
I
you're doing a gaming thing that you don't like in gaming.
yeah.
So should I do an anime I don't like and Justin do a
I just
D&D?
Do a D&D that I don't like.
see that's the thing is like maybe do a type of game that you don't like or whatever. Like it doesn't
alright.
have to be exclusive to our interests.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take up a slice of life because we know this. I have ADHD at the very least.
Can I recommend Toradora?
I was gonna go the shogi based one, but okay, Toradora. I'll go do it. That's fine. I'll do it. You recommended. I'll do it.
I'm so
Justin,
happy.
where are you gonna go?
Honestly, no idea. I'm just gonna have to delve into something.
Well, if I'm gonna do an anime that I'm not drawn to, and Jace is gonna do a game he's not drawn to, you should probably do
a tabletop RPG. Or something
yeah,
that
you
I'm
should
not-
probably do a tabletop RPG that you're not particularly drawn to.
Yeah,
It might be harder though for
I
Justin.
really am going to have
It's
to
a-
do some
it's a little
work on
bit
finding
trickier.
one I don't enjoy, because I like playing anything on a tabletop
So
most of the time. So
maybe
play it
then
on-
you could
play it
always
on the
try.
floor.
Maybe you could try like a game. Maybe try try and find something that's supposed to be as true to D&D as possible. That's a video game,
Yeah,
because that's going to be really constricting, which is probably unenjoyable for a DM.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
fair.
yeah. Sometimes it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe something like
man.
that. I don't know, but
yeah.
you've got a few days to figure it out before you spend some time on it.
Time
and,
doing it.
But yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's rough.
So that's one thing I was thinking of doing in the future.
a cool
I
idea.
am also planning to finish Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid Season 2.
Really?
Yes, I love that show. Shut up.
Let it go. Justin, finish it off.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us for another session. Basement Discourse. What are we? Episode 4 now?
Yep. Don't forget to
Episode
promote
4.
us.
No, that's it.
Yep,
Go
no,
home.
fair enough.
Just go home.
Fuck that.
Subscribe.
Guys, subscribe to our YouTube.
no, fuck
for
you.
fuck's sake.
Fuck you.
You're not doing it.
I'm
Imagine
doing it.
the
I was being a
host-
dick. Subscribe, comment on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, Instagram. Follow us as well. You can join our Discord, which we will have in the links under this, I hope, or I presume. Correct?
Correct.
Right
Yes.
there. Right there. Right
Yep.
there.
Audio listeners hate you.
Right there. What else have we got? Yeah, if you're just an audio guy, so if you are just a listener, you can find us on Spotify and you can find us on Apple. So yeah.
Sweet. Perfect.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome, man. Thanks, guys.